Innovations are intended to improve the overall platform and the ways and means by which citizens, businesses, and the public sector conduct their activities. Citizen to citizen, business to citizen, government to citizen, and vice versa. Mr. Speaker, there are substantial benefits in all these measures for good governance and for sound management of the economy. Building these types of information infrastructure will also help expand the tax base of the economy to improve domestic revenue mobilization, a key pillar of Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Mr. Speaker, soon our national life will be infused with current technology spanning national identification, digital postal, e-banking, link passport, driver's license, pension and insurance data, digital land registry, mobile money interoperability systems, among others. We have set a digitalization agenda to improve the efficiency of many government agencies. These initiatives with potential long-term gains by leveraging technology to improve transparency and accountability. Mr. Speaker, this is the way to go for Ghana if we are to catch up with the rest of the developed world in the fourth industrial revolution. Ghana is ready and pushing hard on this path. Ultimately, our goal is to become the leading hub in ICT innovation in Africa. Mr. Speaker, in pursuit of this, government will set up a national digital strategy team under the overall oversight of the presidency, who will bring together local technology firms and experts, and with the professional and financial support from the Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Finance, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center to elevate the profile and reach of our digitalization strategy across the region to unlock the unexplored economic value of the sector. Mr. Speaker, entrepreneurship. Government will accelerate entrepreneurship and MSC growth to support economic growth and dynamism. Mr. Speaker, entrepreneurship support programs such as MBSSI and NIIP. In addition, government will facilitate linkages between domestic entrepreneurs and FDI firms to join global value chains. Mr. Speaker, recent studies conducted by the World Bank Group indicates that 200 million people worldwide, disproportionately the youth, are unemployed and looking for jobs. 600 million new jobs are needed globally over the next 15 years to keep employment rates stable, and 1 billion young people will enter the labor market between 2019 and 2030. The creation of jobs and connecting to markets, as well as building capabilities and connecting workers to jobs, are policy drivers for our TVET program. Mr. Speaker, government will over the medium term establish 32 new state-of-the-art TVET institutions across the country to ensure that our youth are ready for the job market. Accelerated infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure development is a long-term commitment which requires long-term finance. We will aggressively pursue blended financing arrangements, leveraging sources from various development partners, philanthropy, private sector actors to finance mega infrastructure projects. Seaport and airports to position Ghana as a regional logistics hub, road network in the country, metro and light rail transit systems in Accra and Kumasi. Science and technology. Mr. Speaker, the foundation for industrialization is science and technology. Technological capability is a differentiator between developed countries and developing countries. Mr. Speaker, towards this objective, MESTI will establish the GGMC to ensure that our technology is up to speed with first world. Public service delivery. To achieve the delivery of these reforms and initiatives, government will also improve the efficiency of the public service delivery by strengthening the automation of administrative services, enhance capacity for service delivery, and support digitalization of government's operation, including digital record keeping. Mr. Speaker, conclusion. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, many children, Mr. Speaker, thousands of aged and vulnerable adults with no work and no income. This government has thankfully extended the LEAP program for over 150,000 people. Many children went hungry at school, and thankfully we have expanded the school feeding program by 500,000 people. Thousands of our soldiers deployed for peacekeeping were not going to have the kind of motivation they needed, and peacekeeping allowance have been expanded from $31 a day to $35 per day. Tens of thousands of individuals were going to be taxed out of business with nuisance taxes, and these were abolished. While the average annual increase in electricity between 2010 and 2015 was 45%, there has been a net reduction in electricity tariffs. Thousands of pensions with disability have had their allocations from District Assembly Common Fund increased by 50%. We have also ensured the implementation of our pledge of employing 50% of the persons who manage the country's toll bridges. To address the problem of lack of ambulances, the Speaker, 307 well-equipped ambulances for the National Ambulance Service under One Constituency, One Ambulance Initiative has occurred. By these interventions, Mr. Speaker, we have put monies either directly or indirectly into the pockets of many Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, from 2017 to date, these interventions by government have put at least $12.2 billion in the pockets of Ghanaians. Specifically, 3 SHS has saved parents a total of 1.8 billion Ghana cedis over the last 3 years, and that's money in their pockets. Planting for Food and Jobs has saved farmers a total of 844 million cedis over the last 3 years for certified fertilizer, and this is money in their pocket. A total of 357 million have been put into the pockets of teacher trainees within the last 3 years in the form allowances, and this is money in their pockets. A total of 336 million Ghana cedis have been put into the pockets of nursing trainees within the last 3 years in the form of allowances, and this is money in their pockets. Subsidy for BEC registration fee has saved parents a total of 65 million Ghana cedis over the last 2 years, and that is money in their pockets. The electricity tariff reduction affected by periods effective March 15, 2018 resulted in savings of 1.8 billion per year for residential and non-residential customers, and this is money in their pockets. The reduction and abolition of taxes, including the 50% reduction in import duty, has saved taxpayers a total of 4.1 billion over the last 3 years, and this is money in their pockets. There are over 350,000 jobs that have been created in the public sector, including 100,000 NAPO graduates, has provided total earnings to them of 2.9 billion Ghana cedis, and that's money in their pockets. Mr. Speaker, the question that should be asked is, what social interventions? Mr. Speaker, the question that should be asked is what social interventions did the NDC implement in their 8 years in office to reduce the suffering of Ghanaians? Mr. Speaker, we should also not forget that government has, through the financial sector cleanup, saved the deposits of 4.6 million depositors who would otherwise have lost their deposits. Mr. Speaker, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, who together produce 67% of the world cocoa, have agreed on a framework for setting floor prices for cocoa. This is a game changer in the cocoa industry and will result in a major transformation in the fortunes of cocoa farmers from October 2020. They will receive higher prices for their cocoa through the living income differential. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, the government of Nana Akufo-Addo campaigned on building a more inclusive society where every community has equal opportunity in getting access to basic infrastructure and services like water, toilets, markets, education, and health. This is the rationale behind the launching of the IPEP initiative. Mr. Speaker, The results the last 3 years have been impressive, with thousands of projects, some completed and some ongoing across the 275 constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce that preparations are now complete and the construction of the first 600-bed Kaya hostel will commence in Agogloshi next month to provide accommodation and skill training to these vulnerable young women. Mr. Speaker, to address the inclusion of inner city and Zongo communities, the President established a Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development as well as the Zongo Development Fund. Many project interventions have been made in the last 2 years. Mr. Speaker, we are all witness to the success of our Planting for Food and Jobs program. We have between 2007 and 2018 a total subsidy in the form of 12,000 metric tons of organic and 821,000 metric tons of blended organic fertilizer, as well as 24,000 metric tons of improved seed valued at 0.6 billion cedis were provided to about 1.9 million farmers. Mr. Speaker, government's industrial development agenda is anchored on the One District, One Factory initiative, a program designed to support the private sector to establish at least one industrial enterprise in each of the 260 districts. Much has been achieved, and we are on to the last 150 to work on. To date, 181 projects are at various levels of implementation spread over 110 districts. Mr. Speaker, in 2018, this August House therefore approved the following tax incentives to the private sector business promoters: 5 years corporate tax holiday for 1 year on companies, exemption from import duties, taxes and levies on equipment, machinery and parts, exemption from payment of duties and levies on raw materials. Mr. Speaker, beyond 1D1F, the Strategic Outdoor Industries Initiative is one of the key components of our industrial transformation plan to diversify our economy. The key strategic industries under the initiative are petrochemical, aluminium and bauxite, iron and steel, vehicle assembly, automotive industry, garment and textiles, pharmaceutical, vegetable oils and fats, industrial starch from cassava, industrial chemical based on industrial salt, machinery and equipment manufacturing. Mr. Speaker, the introduction of mobile money payments and interoperability between different telcos, as well as between mobile wallets and bank accounts, has been implemented. This is a major step to financial inclusion and movement towards cashless payment for government services from next year. The interoperability between mobile wallets and bank accounts that we have implemented in Ghana is the first of its kind in Africa and practically provides all 34.5 million mobile money account holders a branchless bank account. This is real change. Mr. Speaker, the process of registering businesses has also been simplified and digitized. Mr. Speaker, digitalization has also introduced in the courts through the implementation of an electronic justice system that allows the automated serving of court processes with speed and ease. Mr. Speaker, the introduction of the People Court system has reduced the time to clear goods. Mr. Speaker, for the first time ever, through the collaborative efforts of different agencies, particularly BRI of CSIR, government launched a comprehensive building code for Ghana in 2018, which is available online at the Ghana Standards Authority website. This will enhance standardization, quality, and reduce cost. Mr. Speaker, to deepen and decentralize governance and enhance peace, we have created 6 new regions. We are proceeding with a referendum and some other amendments to elect MMDCs. We have settled the long-running chieftaincy dispute in Dakwan. We have appointed a special prosecutor for corruption, and we have passed into law the Right to Information Bill, which has been on the radar for the last 20 years. Mr. Speaker, any objective observer will agree that this is a remarkable set of achievements in just under 3 years. However, there's still more to be done. Today, the cry everywhere is about the poor state of our roads. It is an unprecedented cry, and it makes you wonder where all the roads in the NDC Green Book are. Mr. Speaker, this is why we are going to focus more on fixing our roads across the country in 2020 and beyond, to get the road sector moving and contractors back to work. Mr. Speaker, to get the road sector moving and contractors back to work, government will pay 80% of all contractors. Mr. Speaker, we have identified critical roads across each of the 60 regions, and construction will begin on all these critical roads. Cocoa Board has also secured funds to continue ongoing and new cocoa roads. Work on these roads will also commence soon. As part of our new initiative to complement the traditional execution of road projects, we have launched, Mr. Speaker, the Accelerated Community Road Improvement Initiative. Just yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces has started work in Soweto and were able, Mr. Speaker, within a day to do over 4 kilometers of road. Mr. Speaker, the first phase of the Sino-Hydro arrangement is finally taking off. We have also been able to mobilize financing for over 150 other roads nationwide. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians want action on our roads, not words or plans, but what has been done. We intend to swing into action, and the work has already begun so that the talking will cease. Mr. Speaker, with this large number of roads to be constructed, the year 2020 can aptly be described as the year of roads, along with a focus on all ongoing flagship projects. Mr. Speaker, it is clear from the foregoing that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has worked hard over the last 3 years to deliver a substantial number of remarkable achievements which we are going to consolidate going forward. By way of summary and emphasis, I would like to mention some of these achievements. Mr. Speaker, in the last 32 months, we have doubled the rate of economic growth to make Ghana one of the fastest growing economies in the world. We have expanded food production to make Ghana self-sufficient in maize production through planting for food and jobs. We have also introduced and implemented REM for food and jobs to develop the livestock industry. Together with Côte d'Ivoire, we have reached a landmark agreement to have a floor price for cocoa and an extra $400 per ton. We have passed a fiscal responsibility act to entrench fiscal discipline. We have reduced the fiscal deficit. We have established a fiscal council. We have issued a Eurobond with the largest tenor issuance, least cost, and largest subscription. We have reduced the rate of debt accumulation. We have reduced the overall tax burden of Ghanaians. We have reduced benchmark values by 50%. We have reduced inflation to its lowest in 27 years. We have reduced bank lending rates. We have cleaned up the mess we inherited in the financial sector. We have saved the deposits of some 4.6 million depositors. We have established a Financial Stability Council. We have attained a trade surplus for the first time in over 20 years. We have reduced our current account deficits. We have increased Ghana's import cover of larger foreign exchange reserves. We have reduced the rate of depreciation of the city. Under our watch, Ghana has become the top destination for foreign direct investment. We have, Mr. Speaker, we have successfully exited the IMF program that we inherited from the NDC. We have improved Ghana's sovereign credit rating with the first rating upgrade in more than a decade. We have doubled capitalization grant. We have expanded the school feeding program. We have expanded LEAP. We have established a nation builder score and recruited 100,000 graduates. We have purchased 567 vehicles and 3 helicopters for the police. We have launched a nationwide emergency 112 number for the police. We have implemented a new basic curriculum for kindergarten to primary 6. We have redefined basic education. We have redefined basic education to include senior high school and technical school. We are absorbing the cost of WASI registration fees for students. We have restored teacher training allowance. We have procured ambulances for all constituencies. We are constructing turf-view sensors. We've established 75 greenhouses at Dawenya. Mr. Speaker, through our private-public partnership with Novartis, government is offering the drug hydroxyurea to relieve the pain and suffering of sickle cell patients in Ghana. This is the first such initiative in Africa. We have increased the DACF to persons with disability by 50%. We have established the first government adult shelter to support victims of human trafficking. We have increased peacekeeping allowances. We have established and implemented the National Entrepreneur and Innovation Program. We have established the Dongo Development Fund. We have brought transparency in the allocation of oil blocks. We have established and funded the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We have passed the Rights Information Act. Ghana has been elected. Ghana, Mr. Speaker, has been elected to host the Secretariat of the Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement. We have established the 3 development authorities. Mr. Speaker, we have implemented mobile money interoperability. We have introduced a digital license. We have introduced online renewal of NHIS registration. Our hospital processes are being automated. We have implemented an e-procurement at the Public Procurement Authority. Mr. Speaker, we have on course to establish a vibrant domestic automotive industry. The Accra-Tama railway line is now in operation, and the Kodukrum, Takwa, and Achimota and Sawam lines have also been rehabilitated. We launched the Year of Return to mark the 400th anniversary of the first slave taking from Africa to the Americas. Mr. Speaker, of Tamale Airport Phase 2 has started. Tamale Interchange is being constructed. Pokwasi Interchange is being constructed. Tema Motorway Interchange is being constructed. Ubecha Bilante Interchange is being constructed. We have commenced airline operations to WA. We have revived Uncle Ashanti and put more people to work. We have commenced the journey to build the National Cathedral. We have established social partnership. We have launched a comprehensive building code for Ghana for the first time. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Mr. Speaker, finally, we have implemented the free senior high school education for all Ghanaians. As we can all testify, Mr. Speaker, the last 3 years has been remarkable. And we are grateful to God and the good citizens of Ghana for what we have achieved. Going forward, we will consolidate against MAID and pursue our transformation in Ghana, so help our God. Yes, Mr. Speaker, as we push, Mr. Speaker, as we push on in the knowledge, as we push on, Mr. Speaker, as we push on in the knowledge that Ghanaians will know that we mean well, we do well, and that by the grace of the Almighty, we shall all proclaim with one loud voice in melodic unison that one good term of Akosua-Addo will deserve another. One good term will deserve another term. One good term will deserve another term. Mr. Speaker, the Lord has indeed laid the foundation. The Lord has indeed laid the foundation for our country, and Mr. Speaker, His hands will complete it. The way forward, Mr. Speaker, requires bold and courageous leadership, and this government has exhibited such mettle. Mr. Speaker, the boldness of the free SHS program, the boldness of the banking sector reform, the boldness of the renegotiation of the energy sector, the new Ghana Ivory Coast declared floor price for cocoa, the boldness of the termination of the PDS contract, and the boldness of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. My fellow Ghanaians, we must. My fellow Ghanaians, we must go forth together. Let us break, fellow Ghanaians, disunity and poverty with a rod of iron. Let us go forward with a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. Mr. Speaker, we are all growing old. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we are all growing up, indeed. Mr. Speaker, and even I, Mr. Speaker, even I turned 60. Even I. And we need to shout for joy to the Lord. Yeah? For the Lord is good and His love endures forever. But Mr. Speaker, what was remarkable for me on that day was when I met Dr. Ajepon Yamwa, who told me, Mr. Speaker, about his granddaughter who had just won, Mr. Speaker, who had just won the Queen's Commonwealth Community Essay, Mr. Speaker. So I went, Mr. Speaker, to look at what she had written for this glory to come to Ghana. And Mr. Speaker, she had written a poem which said, this is Mr. Speaker, this is a 12-year-old. Ghana Ghana, I am connected to you indeed. Mr. Speaker, and this is what she said. Ever since we gained independence, we have been proud, we have been happy, we have been well-mannered, we are noble citizens. I am proud of my homeland. I am proud of my motherland, Ghana. We face neither to the east or north, but we face forward. Mr. Speaker, this is a 12-year-old with faith and hope in our country. Mr. Speaker, this is a 12-year-old with faith in our country. Mr. Speaker, we need to move forward together and break the disunity and poverty with a rod of iron. Mr. Speaker, we need to build a consensus on a wide breadth of issues so there's optimism in the future, there's social mobility for all, and a new center of trust. Mr. Speaker, this 2020 budget, Mr. Speaker, assures us of a stable and peaceful year in which there are no new taxes. Our roads will be built. We shall strengthen partnership with labor. Employers and faith-based organizations will be our partners. Lending rates will come down. The National Development Bank and the Enterprise Credit System will finance industry, businesses, mortgages, and entrepreneurs. We shall indeed consolidate against for growth, jobs, and prosperity for all. Mr. Speaker, let us all rise and build together. Mr. Speaker, I submit to you, Mr. Speaker, the Inkoswo and Inkabum. I submit to you, Mr. Speaker, the Inkoswo and Inkabum budget. Mr. Speaker,
please avoid anything that is non-parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, I submit to you the Inkoswo and Inkobum budget. A country united in one direction. God bless us all. God bless our homeland Ghana. Right Reverend, Right Honorable Speaker, I so move.
As of when you now qua by about UTV a year studio, ya demo a free mrashe bedrefie die, and ye na and some kakra opinion a kayeno, and naposo kakra na fe, ye no siampemuka se bono, ye di tuemu a casabo, chanso so, de tuemuno, ye de bebre eba na bro, so for so mesica some to choose Rakan Ofori-Atta Casano, or the two justices said ye a year in film pino any eduno, one edisicum would be reras, who don't say the bear, one bet to me. yo madwuma ye no fa saa kwa no so de aboa ma Ghana man ye Ghana fo ya brabom atumi asesa ene o se eba adwade bia me kire rural market ahodo na wo mbesisi dodo no ase de be ya Ghana fo ye maame mo wo mbetumi akọ na fo akọdidwa na aboa na asesa wo musikasam entutue mu wo de no so eto nchen a wo chese ensuo wo kọ mia bebra wo mu enni ensupa ho akwanya ni nyina ya de 2020 wonom de akọ adwendwima wo mbeboa ama nipa dodo no atumi enya ensuo ena afen so wo kasa edefa eye enhumasua ho wo se wonom ebetoto niema ye ene suku adan ahodo ye be prubi ade agu omemu ani nyina ye kwampa wo mbefa so aboa ama adesua ne adekere esumi akoso ewo memu sanso eno kyerese ye allowances bebre a kakamu na wo munsuo aye ne yade a 2020 wo mbeyi na ade afiri honom teacher training for 54,000 wo allowance na yade no so wo mbetu akama ede ama wonom wo kasafa akuaye ho wo kyerese wo mbe supply organic and afi inorganic fertilizer ni bi ede ama Ghana akua